This is me doing some routine maintenance on my eBay inventory at home. Okay, this is my eBay inventory here at home. Well, no, it's not quite that bad. These are two shelves out of 20 or so shelves I have that I keep my eBay inventory sitting on. Although this channel is called Ultra Advanced on eBay, and the purpose here is to help you learn how to make eBay work for you, know all of the tips and tricks that most people have no idea about. This is how you can become powerful on eBay. This is where you can learn how to maximize your sales using the tools eBay gives you. Now, there are other ways to maximize your sales, but I want to make you an eBay master. I think you should master the platform and be a pro at it. If you're selling on eBay, you should master eBay. Why is my channel growing in popularity more and faster? It's because most people have no idea how deep eBay is. eBay is a very easy platform to throw up something, take a picture, write a lousy title, and it's up for sale in 3 minutes. But it's not easy to do eBay the right way. eBay will reward bad sellers by giving them search engine love randomly, or else no one would stay on eBay long selling, because no one would sell anything, because most sellers are really pretty bad. They know nothing about eBay's preferences on its own platform. But if you stick with eBay and you learn eBay and you don't mess with 5 other platforms and try to cross-post everywhere, or even try to use software to do it, there are reasons why even doing that really waters down your time and makes you a less effective seller. My platform of choice is eBay. I've sold here for 27 years now, more than a quarter of a century. I have a few things to tell you about that I think will help your business, your reselling business. That's what we do here. We go out and look for things. It's kind of a hustle, but it's fun. And then we sell them for a big profit on eBay. That's the whole goal of this channel. We don't talk much about replens. We don't talk much about white labeling. We don't talk much about private labeling. Most resellers have no idea the difference between white label and private labeling. We don't do any of that. We hustle to get cheap items to sell for a lot of money. That's the goal, but I want to really show you how to use eBay. Now, even though this is an ultra advanced channel, I find a lot of basic concepts many of you don't know, just because you've never been exposed to them before. I think we ought to talk about inventory. I want to show you how to track inventory. This is something that probably 60% of you know, but I also want to issue a dire warning about this kind of inventory setup. You're going to mess up if you're not careful. I'm going to show you why. I mean, you really will mess up. Let's start with the basics. The number one sin of selling on eBay, the biggest sin a seller can make, is to sell something that you can't find. It's important you know where every item is in your inventory. Now, if you're pretty new to eBay, you probably don't have much of an inventory. You've got all your stuff sitting in a closet. I guarantee you, in just a little bit, if you keep selling and keep growing your inventory, you're going to get to a point where someone's going to buy something and you won't be able to find it. Because I don't have that much. Surely I can find this whenever I sell it. And you can't. From the start, I don't care if you've got 5 products for sale on eBay right now. You need to implement the system I'm about to show you. If you don't know what it is, if you haven't done it already, you need to do it right now, because you're going to grow faster than you think if you follow this channel. You're going to make a lot more money than you think if you follow this channel. And that means liking it and all of that, because when you do that, it doesn't just help this channel, it also makes Facebook show you other channels like mine that will also help you in the same way. So if you're interested in the subjects I offer, you want to like and subscribe. I appreciate it, but it also helps you find other channels like this. From the start, if you're just starting out on eBay, or if you've been doing this for 3 years, I want you to implement the following inventory system. I want you to have a set of shelves. You can start with one if you're new to eBay or you don't have very much. What you want to do is label the shelves from the bottom up. You want to put, now this is the 13th shelf that I added to my inventory. So the bottom row is 13.1. The second row is 13.2. I use F and SKU labels here. If you've ever sold on Amazon, FBA, this is what you do with your F and SKU labels whenever you realize Amazon seems to hate resellers and treat you like dirt, unlike eBay. And whenever you finally quit losing a bunch of time and money on Amazon trying to make that work, and you come over to eBay and you start making some money, you have a bunch of F and SKU labels that you don't know what to do with. Well, I want you to use them to put on your shelving, and you always start with the first one. Now, your first shelf is going to be, your set of shelves will be 1 dash, the bottom row will be 1 dash 2 is the second to the bottom row, 1 dash 3 is the third from the bottom row. Never start at the top. This is my shelf number 4. Notice I start 4 dash 1, 4 dash 2, 4 dash 3. If you can see, can't really see those very well probably, but you always start at the bottom. Why? It's because you can add to the top. There is plenty of room here to add another shelf. I may have to stop using this tall tub, but if I want to add another shelf here, it will be shelf 4-5. That's why you always start numbering from the bottom, so you can add to the top if you ever want to. So your first set of shelves will be 1 dash. Now, every time you list an item, find where you're going to put it on your shelf. Where is the next blank spot that is large enough for that item to fit? And let's say that I just listed Blossom, this Funko Pop. It's really a cheap Funko Pop, but Funko Pop Blossom, new in the box, on shelf 4-4. Fourth from the bottom, shelf 4-4, that's where Blossom is located. I need to tie this location to my eBay item inventory, to my actual description on eBay, and here's how I do it, and here's how you do it. Notice it says custom label 4-4. Every single eBay item I sell tells me exactly where it is in the inventory. Whenever it sells, I look at the sales record and it says custom label 4-4, and that tells me Blossom Funko Pop sold for $7.88 plus shipping. I know to go to shelf 4-4, and it's going to be here somewhere. And this is an easy one. It's obviously right there, but it might be in a tub. I've got smaller things and t-shirts and things like that in buckets on different shelves. Now I label the buckets A. If I had a second bucket on this shelf, I would label it B. So anything inside this bucket would have a custom label of 4-4A. Anything in this bucket has a custom label of 4-3A, and so on. But if I had a second bucket, some things would be in 4-3B. Now, I'm getting ready to tell you the big warning about all this, but right now, this custom label SKU stands for stock keeping unit. That's a inventory term in warehousing, and it's been around for decades. The SKU, I say that it's 4-4. Now, your buyer never sees the SKU, never sees 4-4. You can put anything you want here. Use your SKU field for anything you want. Your SKU is where you tell eBay when you list something where it is on your shelf. So when I start to list Blossom, I want to find a blank spot on my shelf. I go find the next blank spot. When I did it here, it was 4-4. There was a spot up here. These Funko Pops are extremely light, like 4 ounces, sometimes 3 ounces a box. They're not going to hurt each other to stack on top of each other. Even to stack on top of each other 3 or 4 deep, they're not going to hurt each other. I knew that 4-4 is where Blossom is going to go, and whenever I listed her, him, I don't know, who knows. I knew to put 4-4 here. Now, this is kind of grayed out because I guess someone made an offer. They think I'm going to take less than $7 for Blossom. I've already lowered her enough. I probably won't take much of an offer on her. But what's important is this field right here is where you connect every single item in your inventory. I've got over 2,000 items in this selling account that I'm showing you here. Over 2,000 items on shelves all over my home, and every single one of them has a SKU location as to where each and every item is sitting. Now, the moment I click list on Blossom, if I had 15 other Funko Pops to list and I was in a hurry, I still would do the following. I would pick up Blossom from my listing table and I would walk her to shelf 4-4 and stick her right there. As a matter of fact, when she was put here, it was seconds after I had created her listing. I do not want to forget. I assume I'm going to mess up. If I think, well, I'll remember, I'm going to list about 5 things together. I'll remember where they're all located. I'll remember where I'm going to put Blossom. It's up there at 4-4. No, I won't remember it. I have to, as soon as I list it, walk Blossom to shelf 4-4 and put it there. That way, when Blossom sells, I know I can go to 4-4 and it will be there. If you don't, walk your item to its inventory location and put it right then, right there, the moment it's listed, you're going to end up selling it someday and look at the SKU and go, wow, it's blank. I forgot to put where this is located. Or you put a SKU and you go look and it's not there because you put it somewhere else because you did it later and you thought you remembered where it was supposed to go and you didn't. Always walk your item to the shelf. Even though you want to list the rest of them, you want to go to Krispy Kreme and get away from here and eat a bunch of donuts. You don't want to mess around with walking each and every item right after you list them to its proper inventory location. But if you don't, you're going to mess up and you're going to sell it one of these days. And if you do what I suggest, you're going to have same-day shipping or one-day shipping handling time, and you're not going to be able to find your item in all your thousands of items. You've only got 50 now. You'll never have thousands of inventory items. That's what I thought. In one account alone, I've got 2,100 items right now. I've got thousands and thousands of items for sale on eBay. I could not at all find anything half the time. Half my sales, I would just have to cancel and get hit by it. And eBay hates it when you cancel because you're out of stock. Warning number 2, and this isn't even the big warning either. If you can't find something and you tell your seller, we can't find it, do you want me to cancel it? And they say yes, you cannot say buyer requested cancellation. eBay does look for that. eBay does not like sellers who do that. That is something eBay does routinely, not always, routinely check for. If you cancel a sale and you're the one who initiated contact, a canceled sale, eBay will often routinely audit sellers and make sure they were not the ones that said, I lost it, it's broken, or whatever we say. Do you want us to cancel this sale? Of course, what's the buyer going to say? No, I want you to send it to me. And you go, I don't have it. I still want you to send it to me. Well, I know you do, but I don't have it. No, you can't say the buyer requested that you cancel this. If you do that, eBay very likely could get extremely angry with you. What will they do? I don't know. I've never lied like that to eBay. I'm not going to lie like that, especially once I heard at eBay Open that they now routinely audit sellers who cancel sales. They want to make sure that if you use buyer requested cancellation, eBay wants to make sure the buyer really did cancel that sale and you didn't because you messed up. If you cancel a sale because you said item can't be found, that is one of the reasons that you can cancel a sale. You can choose it. If that's why you're canceling, you should choose it. You should always be honest. What you do sometimes is what you do all the time. You should own up to your problem. You're less likely to make the same mistake in the future, and eBay's going to ding your account a little bit. Your metrics are going to be hurt a little bit for a while. Now, if you do this a lot, your metrics will be hurt a whole lot because eBay hates it when sellers sell items that they can't find. But other than that, this is pretty easy, right? Let's review. You've got a shelf and you fill it up. Then you get your next shelf and you fill it up, but you have to label it. You have to number the shelf. Here's shelf number 4. Every row has to be numbered 1, 2, 3, 4 from the bottom. So you can add number 5 at the top if you want to. If you have buckets, call them A, B, C, whatever. And that's how you connect every single item's location to the SKU, to the custom label, where it's located. Anytime, anywhere, you can find anything that sells, even if you've got 5, 10, 15,000 items in your inventory. I'm going to leave you with a big warning. I've already given you 2 warnings. I'm going to give you a third. If you're an everything seller, as many of us are, you're going to have lots of different stuff. Everything's going to be tied to your SKU system. I sell a lot of music, sheet music books. I bought 2 giant inventories from 2 estate sales that happened to have musicians that had collected music their entire lives. I've got thousands of pieces of music and music books that I've been selling over the last 8 months or so, and they're all stored in boxes and just banker's boxes like this, and they're all labeled M1, M2, M3, M4, M5 to M19 or however many I have of boxes of music. It is surprising how few look alike. These are all just various music that these musicians played over the years, and they didn't really have Mighty Jack a Rose, whatever that is. They didn't have 2 copies of that. They didn't have 2 copies of Come to Jesus, Ye Who Labor. They didn't have multiple copies of the Wind Band series, The Hunter's Gig. They didn't have that. They didn't have more than one. They just had one, and I don't have to worry about it too much. But anytime I run across 2 pieces of music, not unlike these. Okay, these are just 2 pieces of music, but I have a lot of sheet music books, and none of them really look alike, but once in a while, 2 will look similar, such as these. These are by 2 different composers. They're 2 different titles, but they're made by the same company. They look alike. They've got the same size. They're very similar in feel and everything else. I made sure that in the 19 or 20 I have, that I did not put these 2 items in the same box. In general, I usually find 2 or 3 items that are similar together that I know that I want to put these into very different boxes. Why is that? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. One time I grabbed the wrong piece because it looked just like what had sold. What else would it be? I went into the music box and grabbed the wrong piece, shipped it off, and sure enough, the buyer said, "This isn't right." I said, "Don't you worry. I see the mistake. I will refund every penny and immediately send you your item, the one that you ordered, by priority mail." And that's what I did. I said, "Keep what you got by mistake." Fortunately, no one had bought the one I sent by mistake. So I ended that item, said, "You keep it. Here's a refund of all money." "Oh, no, you don't have to do that." "Oh, yes, I do." And the buyer said, "I appreciate that. I'm going to leave you wonderful feedback. Thank you for sending the one that I actually ordered. And thanks for the refund, which you don't have to do. I appreciate it." I said, "Don't worry about it. I messed up. I'm going to make this more than right. I'm going to make you more than whole again." And I did. And I sent. So the buyer ended up with 2 of them that were different, but they looked alike. And the buyer was thrilled to have both. He actually didn't even know about the other one and said, "I might have even ordered that if I'd seen it." So great. The buyer's happy. That's all I want right here. This is my mistake. I just want the buyer to be happy. I don't want to get rich off this sale. I want the buyer to be happy. This teaches us something even about inventory such as this. Don't ever put 2 items that are similar on the same shelf, the same row, ever. Now, it looks like I'm violating that rule all over the place here, but I'm not. See these 2 DVDs here? They look like the same, but they're not. This is one of the great courses, a dual DVD set. These 2 go together. If these were 2 separate listings, you would never see them on the same shelf. In my inventory, no way. Now, it looks like I've got a bunch of 8-tracks sitting on one shelf. This is a set. All of these are being sold all in one. So it's not like I'm going to grab the wrong 8-track. They all go. If one sells shelves, they all sell. I'm in no danger of accidentally thinking, well, I've got the right one, when there's one way back here hidden that I didn't see, just that looks very similar to the one I sold, and I grabbed the wrong one. Now, you see all these plates? They look all very alike, and they are. Am I selling those plates as a set? No, but I'm less likely in this case, if I sell one or two of these plates, I'm not going to grab the wrong plate. They're all the same. I don't sell them, unlike the 8-tracks, which sell as a set. I'm not selling all of those same size dishes as a set, but I'm not going to pull the wrong one because they're all identical. It doesn't matter if they're together. I only sell one at a time, or if a buyer wants to buy 3 at a time, I'll just grab 3. I cannot grab the wrong ones. They're all identical. Now, sure, I've got more than one book sitting down here, but they're all different. They're all very different books. They all look different spines, different colors. I would never put books that have similarities on the same shelves together. I am very likely to pull the wrong one when I sell one of them. This is what you do. Do not put similar things on the same row ever. See these two? I think those are Boyd's Bears. Boyd's Bears don't sell very fast. They don't sell for much. They're not worth messing with, but I learned a lesson. I've got 2 Boyd's Bears here. They look similar. I could grab the wrong one. No, these are being sold as a pair. Do you see that little Post-it note right there? It says, be sure and grab the other Boyd's Bear. I told myself when I put this on shelf 13.2, I put a Post-it note on the top of, you can't see on top of this because this Bible is sitting on top of this Boyd's Bear, but this box also has a Post-it note that says, be sure and grab the other Boyd's Bear from this shelf. They go together. I wrote a Post-it note that said they go together. I'm making sure, I am assuming I will mess up and only grab and ship one of these. So I assume in advance I'm going to do that. So I put a Post-it on both saying, these two go together. I want you to start every time you think, I might do something wrong. I want you to fix it right then so you can't ever do it wrong. Write yourself a note and post it on it. Put it on a different shelf if it's an inventory problem that I've shown you. Things like that. Always take care of problems before they happen and assume you're going to make the mistake. And this way, you never will make the mistake. I will never pick up 2 pieces of music ever again that look alike because I never have these 2 types of things in the same box. Never, ever. I never have to cancel a sale because I can't find something. I never send the wrong item. I have fixed that problem. As time goes by, I make my business more streamlined, more hassle-free because of these types of things that I do in my inventory. You should do the same. Go thou and do likewise.